So everyone in position, ready to go for game one on our Sunday ticket. The Rabbitohs against the Raiders, and South Sydney looking for a better performance than they dished up at this venue last year when they got towed up by the Panthers.
I think the big thing for the South Sydney side this year is being able to hang on to the ball. If they can hang on to the ball, they can score plenty of points. Interesting to see how they go here this afternoon.
And Jai Arrow has some wicked kickoffs in his arsenal, drops it into the in goal, an early touch for Whiten on return, and who else but Papali'i to bring it back, and it's an awkward coming together between the two big boppers, and it's Junior Totola in real bother here.
Looks like he put the bumper bars up too. It just depends on where Papali'i has put the arm up there. Junior Totola trying to take his opposition on. No, it's just a good solid collision. Just bumps out of that tackle. Not great to get involved in that sort of collision early in the game. Just trying to assert their authority, both front rowers there. He's up and about, that's the main thing.
The two men that you talked about pre-game, the two front rowers head-to-head in the first hit-up of the game, and that late movement, the late sideways movement from Papali'i just threw Totola off the scent.
I think it's a little bit underestimated, the late footwork that Papali'i has. I'm sure they're having a couple of looks at it, whether the arm was raised. No, it's just a little bit of forearm and a bit of shoulder involved in that bounce off. As you said, late footwork at the line. It's good to see him, as I said, up and about. It looks like he's just giving him the HIA test at the moment to see if he's all right, but very first tackle of the game.
Got such respect from opposition players as well. Junior Totola was asked about Papali'i playing against him in game 250 this week. He says, 250, how old is he? He's already done it at the age of 30. And Liam Knight, another former Raider, just so much respect for Papali'i, but Junior Totola will be off here, and Liam Knight might be called upon. Indeed he is, for an early change after just 13 seconds of game time.
It's a shock when you're playing against a bloke that you really respect and you want to take on and win the respect off him. And the very first tackle, I'm sure he'll be back. I hope he passes it. Played so well last week, as I mentioned. Dally M 3 points for the South Sydney side last week. Let's hope he can get himself back out in the field.
You don't see that too often. Player ruled out after the first tackle. Hopefully he can return. But we're right to go on play two for the Raiders, and Tapine only 12 metres out from his own uprights. Wolford is the dummy half, wearing the number 9 on his back like his dad did so often. Came in, made his debut last week with the 25 on his back and really impressed. A couple of try assists for the hooker. And he's calling the shots, telling his teammates where he wants them to be. Here's Adam Elliott, who came in for Corey Hadawita-Naida. He was left out by Ricky Stewart today, is the 18th man. And here's Whiten. It's a raking kick downfield, and Blake Taff will take it safely, and we can check in with Jake Duke for an update on these conditions. Is the wind a factor at all?
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. It's great to be back here in Dub Vegas, as the locals call it. 10,000 fans expected here today, and there are magic conditions here on the sideline, Speedy, but as you mentioned, the wind is swirling around a little bit. It doesn't have a particular direction, so it's not really favouring any one team here in the first half, but both of these sides, they come off very different wins last week. The Raiders had that terrific result over the Sharks, while South Sydney just held on against a fast-finishing Warriors. We'll see how they go today.
And there's Papali'i reacquainting himself with Liam Knight, dumping him into the surface that is just pristine. We see it at all these country venues, how good the playing surface is. And the curator's done a wonderful job here today as Walker hangs it up towards Rapina's wing. And a good safe take from Jordan, who was playing as the fullback a few weeks back.
Yeah, it's a beautiful take there. Just left the ground. It was a good chase through there by the South Sydney side. No real pressure put on Cody Walker there. And Papali'i just a little bit earlier. That sort of tackle upended. Liam Knight has just come onto the field. If you need a little bit of waking up, he's awake now.
Rapina getting involved again. Centre field late offload for Chotrich as the wingers combine. Don't see that too often in the modern game. Some adventurous offloads already from both teams as Tapine heads up towards halfway. Canberra Raiders with the 4-6 record right now. South Sydney just in the bottom of the top 8. 5-5 coming into this one. Elliott, flick pass out the back for Schneider, and they shift it wide. Opportunity here. Forward pass surely back inboard, maybe touched by South Sydney. And now the late whistle for the accidental offside.
Well, Blake Taft didn't have any opportunity there. It's amazing what an offload can do into the side. He's been really good so far. Adam Elliott went since the Canberra Raiders, a little flick out the back. They go up the right-hand side. The pass back in field, as you said, I thought it was a little bit forward. You see where he took the ball there. I think it was certainly forward.
I think
anyway,
it was touched in flight by the South Sydney player, I think.
They get away with it. The Raiders on the attack now, 20 out.
Timoko taps it and sends it centre field immediately. They'll shift it all the way across to Hudson Young, who's been in terrific form out there on the left edge for the Raiders. Led the way with nearly 150 metres last week. Chance to throw it around here in Dubbo in ideal conditions for footy. And test out the fullbacks with a high ball as well. Set up for a play on this right-hand side now. Lovely link up again. Nickel Klukstar. And taken down as South Sydney were able to number up in the end. Peoples with an important tackle in his first start as a Rabbitoh. Just second game overall. Tarpany sets them up. Schneider waits in the headgear. On to Whiten. Floats one over the top. Chottridge just had to wait for it and plants it down. Welcome back, Jack Whiten. An early try assist. And Chottridge has the first points of the afternoon.
Yeah, it was a beautiful pass over the top by Whiten. Generally, you ease your way back in, but they got the repeat set there, the Canberra Raiders. Tell you what they got to do now. It's only early in the game. I know they lost a man the first tackle, the South Sydney side, allowing too many offloads. Too many easy offloads. Third man in's got to come in a little bit harder. But look at that, it's a magic pass over the top. Chottridge won't get an easier one than that. There's no one within QE. We see the Canberra Raiders, which have given plenty of confidence too. Open up the scoring. They've had all the ball early. Got that repeat set. And they open the scoring.
And great to come on the road and you meet some of the players. We're staying at the same hotel as Canberra, and we saw Jack Whiten last night welcoming a few of the locals in to sign autographs, got his teammates involved and had all the photos taken. He's a great character, all energy. And you said to him, you won 2 games without you out of the team, you better fire up. And he has delivered early here.
No, you're right. And all the good work that the Canberra Raiders and all the teams do in the NRL, like they call people into their hotel rooms and or not their rooms, in the foyer, sign things for them all the time. And it was great to see. There was about 20 people in the foyer there when we come into the hotel, and Jack Whiten was holding court. So good to see him back and good to see him get a try assist to open the scoring for the Raiders.
And Chottridge now has 5 tries in 7 games against the Rabbitohs as a Raider. And they were going to leave Schneider out. Ricky Stewart said, I want to give this young guy a rest. It's only his first time playing senior football. It's his 11th game overall, but Frawley went down with the flu, so Schneider has to back up again. And you keep this handy goal kicking up your sleeve that could be a difference maker today. Tough early look in the swirling winds here in Dubbo. And dragged to the near side by Schneider as the Raiders lead 4-0. Jake Duke.
Yeah, good to have Jack Whiten back in the side after a 2-game suspension. And Speedy, you mentioned Matt Frawley being ruled out. He actually did a fitness test only an hour and a half ago to see if he could come back into this side, and he was ruled out late. Schneider comes in, which obviously was a late change for them the way they've trained all week, but Jack Whiten, it doesn't matter to him. He just picks up where he left off, and the Raiders have actually scored their first try against the Bunnies in 4 straight games now. A good run going for them. And speaking of the hotel last night, I actually spoke to Jamal Fogarty, and we know he's been out since the beginning of the season with that knee injury, but he seems to think he's very close to a return, possibly even next week, which would be ahead of schedule, and that would be great for the Raiders and great for Jack Whiten to have his first choice halves partner back.
And real depth in the halves now established with Frawley and Schneider there as backup if Fogarty does partner Whiten in the coming weeks. And Jake Duke knows him well. Knows him as Fogarty for all those years, and now we're calling him Fogarty.
Fogarty, yes. Played all his juniors against him, didn't he?
Yeah. They're in Queensland as the Raiders rolling here off the back of points. Nickel Klukstar up over halfway, and there's still a couple more plays up their sleeve here. So South Sydney on the back foot early. Tipped on nicely. for Chotrich. Chance to run at them again. And this time it was Ilias getting across in cover. So 20 metres out for Whiten, who got up after getting dumped after the tip on. And a good safe take from Taff, who thought he was wiped out in mid-air there and may have had a case.
I reckon they're going to put plenty of pressure on Taff today. He's not the tallest of fullbacks, but he attacks the football. That's what I like about him. Starting to get in the swing of first grade. I reckon he'll be put under plenty of pressure here this afternoon by the Raiders kickers.
And that replay on Fox League showing how good the timing was from Whiten. Waited for Taff to hit the deck before knocking him over as Papali'i. He just glanced at the referee after that work over the top. It had plenty of shoulder about it on young Peoples. And Ilias kicking from inside his 40 down towards Rapina. Wrapped around, but Nickel Klukstar didn't use his winger. 3 in the tackle for South Sydney, who are looking for a bit of a spark here, the Bunnies. Timokol, strong running by this young centre. Just 22 years of age. 3rd straight week at right centre after switching sides. Rapin has been heavily involved, but that's a negative play that time. Lost 5 metres as he went crossfield and got picked off by Knight. Heavy contact on Tarpany. Kaloa Matangi getting involved, but he stayed upright throughout that. Joe Tarpany, hard to get down. And here's Papali'i off the back of it for Elliott. And they are on top of the ground here, the Raiders. Another handy offload from Elliott. Little double pump from Whiten. And Jackson Paulo made a good tackle one-on-one initially on Hudson Young. Whiten hangs it up again. Whitehead is getting there, trying to time it against Campbell Graham, who is so safe under the high ones.
Yeah, it's some sort of take there by Campbell Graham. They're talking about a lot of representative centres that have been out now for New South Wales. I reckon there might be a couple ahead of him, but he wouldn't be out of place. It was a great take.
Yeah, Whitehead was there in plenty of time, but couldn't get over the top of Campbell Graham, who's in that State of Origin conversation. Lovely hands on the outside, South Sydney, with their first real attacking raid. And Chotrich just got enough of a body on Jackson Paulo to slow him down. Otherwise, they were into the backfield. Now Campbell Graham as South Sydney switcher from side to side, gets through Timoko, gets to the outside for Johnston, but the referee saw an obstruction and gives the penalty to Canberra.
I think you'll find that Cody Walker might have been taken out of play by Schneider as he passed the ball. A little bit of verbal going on between both sides. Gee, I love it too. Whitehead just comes in and says, mate, go away, to Walker. Just brushes him away. They get the penalty. A little bit of... Walker might have went on with it after he passed the ball. It's the Raiders that get the penalty. I thought it might have went the other way there. And I reckon they'll be into him all game. You can niggle him, Walker. He's a great player, but you can get in his face.
Nice pass from Schneider. Papali'i was going to be a sitting duck, so he cut him out and found Elliott. These fans in Dub Vegas getting royally entertained here as the ball is just flying around from one side of the ground to the other. And Chotrich is having a field day down that left-hand side. He had support inside, couldn't find Chris, but they're still rolling off the back of it. Opportunity knocks and dragged down just in time was Hudson Young. Now they'll shift it to the right-hand side. Papali'i, clever play, didn't want to risk knocking that one on as it was right around his bootlaces, and the set restart, second time during this sequence for the Raiders as Rapina is just held down, and another argument for a repeat set, says Elliott Whitehead. Poor service, but Schneider scooped it up nicely, and Canberra can just settle now after just 2 plays. Whitehead, one-hand take, stripped out of there by Walker, and the adjudication is knock on against Whitehead. He's thinking about offering the captain's challenge. I don't think he'll get it though.
No, I think Whitehead knocked it on the way down. The ball was stripped out by Walker, and then Whitehead tried to grab it again. By the look of it, just trying to go at him, making a lot of tackles. He tried to go it again. Was it a knock on by South? We'll have a look at this.
Maybe that second touch by Whitehead. Didn't look like it on the other angle, and he is the captain, so he could have gone straight up and asked the referee to challenge that one via the bunker.
Gee, they need to hang on there, didn't they? The South Sydney side, a couple of repeat sets to the Raiders. They're looking dangerous.
Popped out the back, knocked backwards, says the referee, as Canberra thought they'd created an error there. Yeah, South Sydney need to adjust to that threat of Chotrich and creating overlaps on that left-hand side for Canberra. Strong contact there by Whitehead. And the ball does pop out as Peoples lost it. And Canberra have great field position again here through Timokal.
Now, that's a real good player. The bloke that made the mistake up the other end in Whitehead makes up for it there with a crushing tackle there. Makes the ball come loose. Gee, they've been aggressive early, the Canberra Raiders, in their defence. Forced a couple of errors already.
Tarpany holds on that time. They had numbers to that left-hand side once more. Ball spits out the back. It's play on here for the fullback. Nickel Klukstar looking for options, and Whitehead back on an angle. Walker involved in the tackle again, but this time there's no stripping going on. Woolford goes right. Papali'i trying to crash over. In game number 250, a trademark effort from Big Papa, and they get around him. A try in the milestone game.
Well, as his career goes on, or when he's finishing, they'll be 50-metre tries. He's that dangerous, that close to the line. He's so strong. Look, here's the error. Great defence there by Whitehead, making up for his error just up the other end of the field when he lost the ball. Big Papa. What about when he gets the ball this close to the line? Standing start too. Bounces out of the tackle. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, from the first hit up, he's got great late footwork. This time he spins out of the tackle. They can't handle him. Look how strong he is. Try to the big man.
Ricky Stewart to Jake Duke in the pre-game. I'd be disappointed if we came out flat in game number 250 for Josh Papali'i, and there's been no sign of that at all. They're playing for this guy, and then he dishes that up. Try number 58, that's some record. Of course, he played a lot of his career starting out on an edge, and then Ricky Stewart moved him into the middle about 5 or 6 years ago now.
Well, you have a look at it. They lost Junior to Tyler in the first tackle. Their big middle man. They're getting smashed through the middle. It's all the Canberra Raiders at the moment, even with the offloads and just their yardage after contact. They're all over the South Sydney side. It looks shell-shocked to me. It'll be 10-0 in a sec.
Trying to square their ledger, trying to get back to 5 and 6, and then try and back it up again next week, the Canberra Raiders. But they've got the early advantage here, 15 minutes in. Oh, he's missed. We'll mark that one down. Could be a handy 2 points that they've let go there. Schneider with a shake. Jake Duke.
Big Josh Papali'i, just the third Raider to reach the milestone of 250 games behind Jason Croker and Jared Croker. And he also scored a try last week in game 249 up at Magic Round, and that was just 2 days after his 30th birthday. So it's been a good couple of weeks for Big Josh. He didn't have his family, a lot of his family here today, but they were there for game 249 last week up at Suncorp Stadium, obviously being from that Logan area. But no doubt they'll be cheering him on today in game 250. What a great player he is. And Block, you mentioned Tavita Totola, he is out for the game, so a big blow for South Sydney. They are down a man. He's failed his HIA.
Big news after the first hit up, very similar to that one, that Burgess tried to stop Papali'i that time. And he was wiping away tears when a lot of friends and family sent in their congratulations on game number 250. You can check that out on the Canberra Raiders website.
We don't want to lose one of your middles when you're playing against that two-prong attack in Papali'i, we mentioned so many times, and also Tarpany. That 1-2 punch in the middle. You need some blokes who can stop those guys, and they're having a field day at the moment.
They're a great 1-2 punch. Papali'i and Papali'i racking up the run meters so far. Combined for over 100, those two already in this contest. As Taff, it was awkward for him. Did well to hold on. And
Elliot, 10
Canberra
metres.
a little over-eager in front of the kicker and inside the 10.
They are struggling at the back end of the field, the South Sydney side. A penalty will help there. A couple of their forwards just getting behind the ball now. So they get the penalty, they kick it downfield. Not a bad place to start 30 metres out.
Safe touch finder it was from Ilias. Campbell Graham with some good go forward. Stretch Graham, as his coach calls him. Cook service right out in front of Knight, who takes them over halfway. So an opportunity to hit back on the scoreboard. 2 unconverted tries. So still within touching distance are the Raiders. Burgess trying to jump over the top of them. As Wolford and Elliott got involved in the tackle. Elliott's been outstanding so far. Walker trying to slide it through for Peoples. It was a real clunky effort by South Sydney out on an edge, and they cough it up again.
Tackle without the ball.
Late call says that there was a tackle without the ball. So the referee's been tipped up by one of his touchies there, I fancy.
Gee, it's pretty hard to not tackle someone when they're right at the advantage line like that. Without the ball, so South get a little bit of a reprieve there. Back-to-back penalties for them. They're good enough to make a break here and score.
Liam Knight got crumpled that time. Now it's Burgess's turn. Inside the red zone, South Sydney. Now they can look to put on a pet play after the set restart. Out the back from Arrow. Here comes Walker. Campbell Graham, catch and pass. Johnston all the way through. Can he plant it down? Ball's loose. Graham gets his hand on it, and there's a bit to check out here. Do the Rabbitohs have their first try or not?
Looks like Johnson had spun out of a tackle there. Back in field. They got no try.
Knocked on or kicked out against Telstra Raiders into the ground.
Just looks like the ball's kicked out of the hands, or what they're saying, and the ball's kicked out of the hands of Johnson. Again, they love this left-hand side, don't they? The second man play here. Graham, beautiful catch and pass there. That's a great skill to have. Rapana comes in field.
We're just looking at any possible obstruction from Trent Peebles on Brad Snyder.
Well, Schneider tackles Peoples.
That's.
We acknowledge a contact on the outside. We're just playing on to see what occurs.
And Graham standing in the line as well. Not a lot going for
Brad
it so
Snyder's
far.
been held up in the run of play and was obstructed by Trent Peebles. We have a decision.
What? Snyder. Oh, you mean after he tried to make the tackle?
Yeah. So 30 metres ago, Peoples got a penalty for being tackled without the ball. He just got tackled without the ball again, but he's getting away the penalty this time for running as a lead runner.
Trent, you've got to run the inside line, mate. There's a penalty here. I've explained it to you, Trent.
I agree with him. Snyder actually tackled him. So how did he get done for obstruction there? Anyway, the Raiders hang on.
We move on. Touch finder onto the roof here at Apex Oval. Timoko, strong runner. No one there at marker for South Sydney, so Whitehead accepts the opportunity to head up to halfway.
Up together now.
Burgess got the strong contact on Papali'i in company with Cook. Tarpany's turn. Elliott. And spinning out was Ilias, got knocked over by Hudson Young. And they keep peppering that side, Canberra. Catch and pass. South Sydney thought it was forward. There's a Raider down in back play. Got whacked in the sternum perhaps, so they'll check on his welfare as the kick goes up again. Diffused by South Sydney, and Canberra will defend with 12 for the time being.
Is it Wolford down in the back play? I just haven't picked up the number yet.
That's together now.
Yep.
I think it is, yeah. Tommy!
He's had the wind knocked out of him big time. The young man playing just his second game in the NRL, and here's a piggyback for South Sydney.
The good thing is he's up and about. As you said, had the wind knocked out of him. Ricky will be on the sideline going, come on, son. Get back in the line.
Matangi right in under the ribcage. Just as the pass was released and he was vulnerable in that area.
Good tackle. That's Elliott underneath.
They've been picking on Liam Knight since he came on for Junior Totola. He hasn't been able to get a whole lot of go forward. And the Bunnies spark into life here attacking wise. Elias held on. Didn't push the pass to Arrow. Late offload as Elliott dumped the halfback. Matangi, late offload, delightful. And the flick out the back from Jackson Paulo, touched by the Raiders, so 6 more. Tane Milne, who's been racking up the tries since shifting to that right wing. Hasn't had much joy so far, matched up against Jotrich. Here comes Walker. Tried to pick it up and scoop it on in one motion and got away with it there, Campbell Graham.
6 more, slow.
Yet another set restart. John Arrow sets them up. Plenty of pointing going on from South Sydney. Peoples back to Ilias, and they can keep on shifting it if they want to. Arrow takes them on once more. South Sydney, the home team here in Dubbo. Cook. Liam Knight's big hits. Ball jolted loose as they get to Knight again. And it's Papali'i and Whitehead involved again to knock it clear.
Gee, that's some solid defence. That's been a highlight for me. I know they lead 8 points to 0, but their defence in the middle has been outstanding. They're just bashing the South Sydney side at the moment. They've got to do it for the full 80. Liam Knight comes away with the error. The Raiders again been under the pump the last 10 minutes. Been able to hang on.
So many highlights throughout his career, and Josh Papali'i is providing a nice package for the crew to break down at half-time. Lara Pitt, Mick Ennis, Cooper Cronk, Benji Marshall to have a look at Papali'i's first half performance here that has been stellar.
He's been outstanding, hasn't he? As you said earlier in the call, he played a lot of footy early in his early days on the edge, then moved into the front row. He scored something like 60 tries or something like that. Some
58.
sort of 58 tries. That's some sort of number for a big fella. He's done well, and they've done well to hang on.
And Wolford's done well to recover. Continuing in that dummy half roll. He'll get a chop out eventually from Tom Starling. In fact, that is imminent because Canberra's number 14 is on his feet and ready to come on. Came on for the second shift last week, Wolford, and set up the match-sealing try for Schneider. Finds Whiten for another penetrating kick. Taken 5 metres out from his own line by Johnston. And Horsburgh fresh on for Canberra there to lead the kick chase.
And 6-1 the offload so far in the game in favour of the Canberra Raiders. Just got so many blokes with the ability to stand in tackles and offload that football. Just upsets the defensive line. They do it so well.
Interesting. They're all on top of it, aren't they? That should be a set restart because he was just the other side of the 40-metre line, but the ref will blow the penalty there for South Sydney to gain some bonus metres via the touch finder.
They've got a couple of piggyback penalties, haven't they? The South Sydney side, when they've been stuck in their own half. And there's another example of it. Players know the rules.
Boys, Big Papa off for his first break of the game, and what a stint it was to start. 1 try, 73 run metres, 3 tackle busts and a line break, 9 tackles. What a performance in game 250. Plenty more to come.
Late offload here for Cook, who's going to be dangerous the longer this game goes on. It's a warmish kind of afternoon here in Dubbo. Papali'i, there is the backup dummy half. Ilias looked out towards Liam Knight, who had someone in his grill, so held on. Now Walker taking the line on this time, Cody. And in the end, 4 involved in the tackle. And they shift it quickly to that right-hand side where they've seemingly got numbers. Ilias just drops one in behind. It's a good-looking kick. And they'll get a repeat set out of that one.
Offside.
And that Canberra defensive line had pushed off the line too early.
In the middle here.
Well, I suppose that's the reason they kicked in behind there. Just that rush defence there from the Canberra Raiders. Ilias it was who put the kick in and behind. They get the penalty. They've had a lot of football, haven't they, the last 15 minutes. Another replacement now, Liam Knight off. That's been a tough afternoon for him in the middle so far. On after only 1 tackle. He'll be sucking the big ones in.
Sele, who was the late inclusion today, and number 24 has come on for Knight. It's his 3rd appearance of the year, played rounds 6 and 7. And Cook finds him. Sele, the freshman. He can go right or left, and Cook chooses the left-hand side for Jai Arrow. Trying to back his way over, and the try line was right in front of him. Walker, right-hand side. Lovely little flick on from Taff, but there's no room to move for Tane Milne, who gets backslammed for his trouble, and the ball came loose. That was Whiten over the top with aggression.
Well, that's been so good from the Raiders so far. Another lead 8 points to 0, but their defence, they've forced the ball free at least 3 times in this first half with rugged defence, and there's another example of it.
All the talk heading into this game was how Canberra had been knocked around by the flu. There were so many late changes, but the 17 that they put out there today are ready to go. High tackle now. And then the follow-up flop on Rapana by Papali'i, another former Raider, up against his old team today.
No real swinging arm in that one. Penalty sufficient. The lazy arm over the top just caught him high around the neck.
Played 79 games for the Green Machine.
They go on the attack again. Just watch this set. Just have a look at the South Sydney defence through the middle. That's a little bit of a worry for them at the moment. Jai Arrow not real well. He's coming back into the line now, so another one of their middles under duress. They'll be licking their lips now, the Raiders.
It's an HIA here as well, after I think it's the Whiten hit that forced the ball loose on Tane Milne. That's seen the doctor request an HIA inspection for the winger.
Here they come now, the Raiders. You watch this. Just watch this set. See how fair dinkum South are now. Look at them through the middle.
Cody Nikarima with his utility value comes on here, replacing Tane Milne, and he'll go into the fullback role, and Taff will defend out there on the right wing.
Up together, key on score.
Here's Rushton, the young Englishman who replaced his countryman today when Sutton couldn't go. Papali'i still going strong. Maybe a little bit of fatigue as he incorrectly plays the ball and gives it back to South Sydney, and they'll take that, the Bunnies.
Gee, that's a horrible play, the ball. Tapine been one of their best to start the game too. As I said, try and leave him out there a little bit longer. Just Walker over the top, all over him. Just trying to play it a little bit too quickly. There goes another chance for the Raiders. Tell you what, they're lucky the scoreboard hasn't ticked over a little bit better for the Raiders. South Sydney side, they've had a lot of possession, but made a lot of mistakes in this first half. I think the scoreboard flatters them at the moment.
Oh, flying out of the line, Horsburgh just missed the mark. And that would have been massive if he'd found the sweet spot there.
Just got to be so careful going at that sort of pace, coming out trying to put a hit on. Make sure you bend your back a little bit.
Trent Peoples did well to swerve and miss Corey. He came hunting a scalp.
He might have been sitting up here with us.
There's Nicarima chiming in the fullback role. Ilias waits to go high. Back to this near side. Rapiner able to stay grounded. Yeah, Canberra will feel that their lead should be at least double digits. They missed both conversions, including a pretty straightforward one from Schneider after the Papali'i try. This will help them.
Is that about here?
Referee Peter Goff has given both teams a few piggybacks out of their own end. Penalty count 5-4 in the first half hour.
And this is what happens to the Canberra Raiders for the bulk of this season. They start to fall off at the back end of halves. Got a lot of ball in this game and a lot of field position. As I said, only 8-0. Should be further ahead. Let's see if they can score before half time here.
Last meeting was over a year ago, round 8 of last season. Johnston scored 2 tries in the Rabbitohs 34-20 win. Overall, the Raiders lead the head-to-head comfortably. Young throwing the dummy this time, with Chris on his outside. Starling at first receiver. Tarpany will make sure of the play the ball this time, you'd imagine.
Good run. They can't put him on the ground.
Strength and balance from Tarpany. Now Starling for Schneider. Stepping his way through and nearly weaved his way all the way to the try line. He's out of play on the last, so they'll look for a chance. And what a pass it was from Starling, and the angle of the run from Hudson Young. And now they do have the kind of reward they're after on the scoreboard. It's 12-0, kick to come.
Oh, that's a great try. That's how you should run onto the footy, whether you're a decoy runner or a runner that's going to get the footy. That's just slick stuff. A couple of South players left laying on the ground. Hits the ball at speed. Hudson Young scores a good try. Look at that, some arm grabbers there. You hit the ball that hard, bend and put your shoulder into the runner there like that, but unfortunately, a couple of arm grabbers. You can't throw out an arm at a man running at that sort of pace. This is more like the scoreboard should be. What a performance from the Raiders in the first half.
It's been a stop-start career for Hudson Young, but he appears to have taken his game to the next level so far this season.
Yeah, all about trust, isn't it? Ricky's given him a lot more minutes by the look of it this season. They've had a number of injuries and, like I said, haven't been able to make it to the games, but Hudson Young, it's a good try for him just on the stroke of half-time. Well, not long to go before half-time anyway. And that's more like the scoreline should be.
In amongst the deep breathers is young Schneider. He's been sacked as the goal kicker after those first couple of efforts, and Jordan Rapiner, who would have been the goal kicker today if Frawley hadn't been ruled out, will eventually get the kicking tee and have his first shot of the afternoon.
Been so dominant, haven't they, the Raiders? Jeez, they've played with power. I know they've scored the 3 tries, but their defence, the way that they've been able to force the loose ball on South Sydney with rugged defence, it's happened 3 or 4 times. Those sort of turnovers are so important. And we see a smile from my man Ricky before half-time.
Chance to really get their season up and running if they can close out a hat-trick of victories. Not many gave them a shot last week against the Sharks. Doesn't waste any time. Once he gets the tee, Rapana just strokes that one over. And now it's 14-0, approaching half-time. There's a big 7 minutes coming up for South Sydney.
Yeah, they've made a couple of clean breaks in this game, South Sydney, especially down their left-hand side. The right-hand defence of the Raiders just haven't been able to come away with any points. You'd be even more happy with the defence of the Raiders to keep South to 0 before half-time or at half-time. It's been very lazy sort of performance here from the South Sydney team. It looks like they were left in the sheds before the game by the look of it. And the aggression with their defence just hasn't been there.
They came out to Dubbo on Friday, did the captain's run at this venue yesterday. Canberra did their captain's run at home before flying in yesterday afternoon. So different preparation for these two teams. Horsburgh putting some footwork on and dancing his way all the way out to the 20-metre line. That's a very handy run. And off the back of it, here goes Young again.
It's been good from Horsburgh, trying to make a difference since he's come on the field. A couple of good runs. Been trying to put a few shots on. That's what you want from your men off the bench. Aggressive play. And he's done that early.
Tom Rushton able to keep his feet. Tarpany. Oh, high shot. And the referee says play on for now. After Taff defending at left centre came in looking for a shot.
Not late here, not late.
Whiten gives it some hang time. Nikarima.
Top.
Caught out of it there, Tom Starling, very late.
I've seen those tackles being called out a lot. It probably looked a little bit worse than what it was.
Good field position here for the Bunnies. Inside the 40 they go. Through Sele. 4 Raiders involved in that tackle. Ilias, Kaloa Matangi, and he's tripped up by Whiten. Short side. Flicked out the back and running out of room in a real hurry. Canberra's defence outstanding in this opening 40.
You see Campbell Graham's moved over to the right-hand side. Taff is moved into the centres. Nikarima at fullback. Here's that hit. So these ones pulled up. Is that around the neck?
Certainly got your attention with the head flung back and the headgear nearly went flying from Schneider, but Chotrich had plenty of time just to take Paulo across the sideline.
Enough. Got blood bin here. Blood. Elliot.
I just said to you a minute ago.
He's likely to defend me in a tackle. He can be out the back and get cleaned up while you're playing. That's the difference, Elliot, yes.
Elliot Whitehead talking it over to the referee, Peter Goff. Don't forget our halftime show, all the analysis coming from Lara Pitt, Mick Ennis, Corey Parker and Benji Marshall. All-star crew in the Allen Border studio.
Geez, there's some games amongst those characters in there. How many you reckon? 600? More.
And the rest.
Yeah. Bit of experience there.
Chotrich got away from a couple of would-be tacklers. And don't forget game 2 in our Sunday ticket, the Titans against the Sharks. Nico Hines back in the number 7 jumper. And South Sydney get the look in there after here in the final 5 minutes before the break as Canberra cough it up inside their own red zone.
Yeah, they knew the captain now, Cody Walker. Here's their chance. 4.5 to go before half-time in the middle of the park. They're good enough. They just need to lift that energy level. The South Sydney side, they've been a bit flat in the first half. They need to score, and they need to score now.
Walker was talking it over with Damien Cook, what kind of play they want to put on here from the centre field scrum. Walker is on that right-hand side with Nikorima out the back.
Okay, stay in, stay 10. Hold that, Jack. Break.
And they do go to that right-hand side. They've got some numbers here, but they've lost out on the opening play. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's 0 tackle too. Walker just trying to force the issue there. The pass wasn't on. The Raiders get the footy back.
Just knocked out of his grasp again by White, and we've said that a few times in this first half.
Beautiful afternoon. Look at that. Sun shining.
Yeah.
Raiders will be happy with it.
Rushton's been all patched up. Schneider moving it on. Rapana back in ball inside for Nickel Klukstar. Might have been a chance to keep it going on the outside. And Tess Taff in that makeshift centre role. Beautiful looking kicker, isn't he? Whiten makes Nikorima camp underneath it, and as a result the kick chase is there. The green wall set up by the Raiders.
Yeah, just on 100 metres, played the full 40. Tarpany, a huge fan. Haven't been able to put him on the ground. Great first half from the big front rower.
Whiten flying up to be third man in there. Ilias inside the 40. Rapana still up in the defensive line, so Nickel Klukstar had to get across in time to prevent the 40-20, and now Rapana head towards the touchline for a brief moment and headed back inboard, and will link up with Chotrich again and gets around Graham. Can they turn this into attack? Oh, Chotrich didn't pass it on the outside. Otherwise, they might have been able to go 95.
Gee, should have backed his skill there. Should have passed the ball. A little bit more awareness. They got on the outside of the South Sydney defence there.
Great work in the end by Nickel Klukstar. He knew Rapana was going to get there first to tidy up the tap back inside. Ilias that close to a game-changing 40-20 potentially. Late offload from Horsburgh for Young. No looker for Starling, and Canberra score a sensational try. One of the team tries of the year. No lookers, Harlem Globetrotters stuff, and they cap off the first half in some style.
Oh, that style there from Corey Horsburgh comes on. What a great pass back on the inside, flick pass. His defence has been outstanding. Got the ability and leg speed to break tackles. Look at the flick back on the inside there to Hudson Young. And the speed man gets the ball to finish it off. The outside pass there. Sebastian Chris just supporting the ball. That's a great try. You can put that down for the Volvo.
Yeah, Starling must have been thinking, I could almost fall over here, but he made sure of it by popping it up to Chris. But what about the no-looker there from Hudson Young?
See, the big thing for South Sydney in the first half, 21 missed tackles. Only 5 from the Raiders. Never cleaned that area up. And up goes Ricky, finally. Well done, Rick. Good to see you smiling, son.
18 points to nil. The goal kick, and then we're done in the opening 40. And South Sydney, they are the home team. Second straight year here at the Apex Oval in Dubbo. Conceded 56 against Penrith last year, and they're in a big early hole here. Hoping they can turn it around like the Warriors did to them last week in the second 40. But Canberra just looked the dominant team here this afternoon.
Yeah, they do. I know the scoreboard and the points are starting to tick over. I've said it a couple of times. It's their defence for mine. It's been impressive. They've belted South out of it right from the first run.
And Rapana slots another one. Canberra playing some wonderful footy here in Dubbo. There's concern here for the fullback, Nickel Klukstar. We'll check on that during the break. But at half-time, it's Canberra 20, South Sydney 0. Can this guy spark them? Cody Walker trying to ignite the attack like he did last week with those try assists in the first 40 minutes against the Warriors. They need another half like that here today.
Well, they had plenty of opportunity in the first half. If you go on field position, now they made a couple of breaks down that left-hand side, then they swapped Campbell Graham over to the other side of the field on the right-hand side. So the normal go-to side is a little bit interfered with. So South with all to do in the second half. 20 points to 0. Fair lead for Canberra. Ricky Stewart wanting to play for the full 80 and go on with it.
So Rapana just floats one down. Awkward bouncing ball it was for Ilias, who trapped it just in time and gave it to Havili. Good chase from Canberra. So Savage is the fullback. Rapana stays on the right wing, and there's no Nickel Klukstar for Canberra. And yet another penalty inside the 40, inside the 20. In fact, this one for South Sydney to march up the field.
Just watching Tom Starling come out of the tackle, the number 14 there for the Canberra Raiders, just hobbled out. Just trying to get a little bit of feeling back in his leg. Only early in the second half here, Souths have got the first penalty.
Matangi takes them into Canberra territory. Lights have been turned on here in Dubbo on a spectacular afternoon in the Central West. Plenty of Bunny supporters ready to get vocal if their team can hit the scoreboard here. Ilias knocked that one on to Jai Arrow. Easy adjudication, and there's frustration from Jai as he spikes the ball into the turf. They can't get anything going.
Well, I'll tell you what they've got to do. They've got to win the collision in defence, and when they've got the ball, that's a horrible pass over the top. Comes off Ilias' shoulder. It's deemed a knock on, but they get the opportunity to win some collision. I reckon they would have been talked about at half-time. The Raiders played all over the top of them.
Let's get down to Jake Duke.
Yeah, a bit of injury news from half-time, boys. Chance Nickel Klukstar is a hamstring injury. His afternoon is done. He will be out, and with Xavier Savage to play fullback for the rest of the game. Tane Milne for the Rabbitohs has failed his HIA, so they are now down 2 players, with Tavita Totola suffering a HIA earlier in the game as well. Ricky Stewart, he was really happy with their defence, just said keep defending, we'll win. And Jason Demetrio not happy at all. He wanted his side to start strong in this second half to get back into it. That was not a good start with Jairo putting that ball down.
Horsburgh made a nice impact late in that first half. Played it for Starling to scamper up over halfway. Tarpany. What an opening shift he is putting in. Up over 100 metres with that last surge. Paulo camped underneath it, judged it nicely. Shielded it away from Jack Whiten.
Well, they'll have plenty of energy in their defence, won't they, the Raiders, because Souths have made that many errors when they've had the ball. South trying to lead the way there for the South Sydney side, but just haven't been able to win that middle battle.
Yeah, the difference in completion rates is stark. South Sydney just above 60%, and Canberra up in the mid-80s. Matangi, little flick for Campbell Graham onto Nikarima, and Canberra's defence able to scramble once more. Ilias on the last. Gets it over the top of Savage, turns the makeshift fullback around and gets a repeat set for his team.
Gee, that was good play there by Ilias. If you have a look at it, Savage, who's playing fullback now for the Canberra Raiders, was caught up in the line making a tackle. He looked up and saw the fullback not there. Matangi down this right-hand side with the flick back on the inside. Nikarima takes the tackle, but then the little chip over the top. Just seeing that the fullback was out of position. That's great play. Gets himself back there in the end. They force the line drop out. That's good play from South.
And set up to go short here. Rapana timed it nicely. Do they get it back? Yes, they do. Whiten tapped it back. Young tidied up, gives it to Savage. Aren't they playing some ad-lib footy to savour today, the Canberra Raiders? Even the short dropouts are coming off.
Well, that's zero tackle up the first tackle. They're nearly on the halfway line. It's great response here from the Raiders.
Got some tricks as Jordan Rapiner, and perfect execution on that dropout, just 10 metres out from the line as Schneider goes right-hand side and almost through the hole. Forced an offload that time. It's play on for now, is it? Timoko, chance to fall over in the corner, stretches out and scores. Bit to check out here. He might have been better off not scoring on that play because they'll go to the bunker and check it all out. For now, it's 24-0.
Well, they've awarded a try. They've gone the length of the field. Now, that just typifies South Sydney's defence here this afternoon. They forced the line drop out. It's zero tackle and they're up over the 40-metre line. They go the length of the field. Some wonderful skill again. The ball dropped on the ground. Timoko gets the ball after a beautiful flick there. Is that Rapiner again? I think it was that got the ball away. Look at that flick out the back by Whitehead. That's play on. Watch this for a pass. Timoko just can't hang on to him. That's a try.
Yeah, nothing wrong with what happened late. The pass from Whitehead was a little suspect the way it went potentially forward, but they can't check on that in the bunker, of course, so this try will stand.
It will. There's a fair bit of chalk on that to put down too. But that's disgraceful defence there from the South Sydney team. Gone the length of the field after they'd forced the line drop out. The Raiders just in some sort of mood. Gee, they're good to watch, aren't they? They're playing some great open style footy, and that's another try.
Try confirmed. Ricky Stewart must be delighted with the way that his team has turned up today after all the issues during the week. The players that were troubled by flu, there was about 6 or 7 of them, they trained together just to try and, you can spread the flu amongst yourselves, boys, but not everyone else. So they had about 6 or 7 in that group. And then a very light week post-Magic round, and it's all come together on game day.
Yeah, gee, they've played well, haven't they? Mate, obviously, maybe South have read the press or heard that the Raiders were in all sorts of trouble with the flu. Might be gammon from Ricky. Put out a little bit of a porky there. They're flogging the South Sydney side at the moment.
And Rapiner trying to bend it back. Denied by the post. Maybe the old Queensland origin trick, just to put out the red herring in the press blocker as we check in with Jake Dew.
Yeah, Jordan Rapiner, how long has he been doing it, boys? 32 years old. He's the oldest at the Raiders, and there's only 4 players in the NRL that actually got their start in the top grade before Jordan Rapiner did. That's Andrew McCulloch, Wade Graham, Kevin Proctor, and Aidan Tolman. Rapiner debuted all the way back in 2008, but he continues to produce plays like that for this Raiders side and to set up a young bloke in Matt Timoko who scores his 4th try of the season. And South Sydney, they're in a bit of a hole at the moment. We talked about it pre-game, the fact that they've gone win-loss, all the way back to round 5, round 6. They have struggled for consistency this season, and they're struggling to get going here, down 24-0 and still 33 minutes to play.
Yeah, no Latrell Mitchell, no Cam Murray at the moment, no Mark Nichols, who's such a handy warhorse in the middle for them as well. But the way this is tracking, they'll have identical records after this game. Canberra with the chance to improve to 5 and 6, and South Sydney look like dropping to 5 and 6, and Canberra, their next fortnight is at home against Parramatta, then the Roosters, and right now they're going to be very hard to beat back in the nation's capital.
Especially they play the open style of footy that they played here this afternoon against South. Scoreboard slowly but surely ticking over.
The good news is we just saw Cameron Murray sitting there on the sideline. Speaking to Jason Demetrio, the coach, before the game, he said that shoulder injury and that shoulder surgery has been better than they thought, and they are expecting that maybe Cameron Murray could play as soon as next week, which is good news for them and good news for New South Wales, obviously with a bit of injury crisis for Freddie at the moment, but they do need Cameron Murray out there at the moment.
And if you're wondering why you're seeing Latrell Mitchell post on Instagram from the United States, he's been seeing a renowned hamstring surgeon to try and get that part of his body right so he can string the games together at the back end of this year and beyond for the Rabbitohs.
Well, they want to hope they're in contention by the time he comes back, him and Murray. Latrell Mitchell, that is.
He returns to Sydney next week and hopefully available not long after that, Latrell. Arrow up the middle, playing in the jumper, normally reserved for Cam Murray in years gone by.
Gee, they miss him more than ever, don't they? Just his ability, just with his work rate.
Beautiful.
He gets around the ball.
Beautiful kick from Walker, held up in the in goal, made it tough on Savage. Strong runner, this guy, isn't he?
That left side, guys.
Timoko.
He's won a couple of penalties running the ball at the back end of the field, hasn't he? I suppose Sydney want to get up and get into him before he gets going. Timoko can run the ball.
Taps this one and goes. Young 22-year-old centre. Forward pass and picked off. Schneider says it was flat at worst, but the touchies tipped up the ref that this one had travelled forward to Horsburgh. And that's a telling replay.
He nearly gave himself up, didn't he, after he passed it? You could hear all the South Sydney players. Forward pass. There's a turnover for them, but every opportunity they've got in this game they haven't capitalised on. As I said in the first half, they made a couple of clean breaks and had some good field position, but yet to bother the scoreboard attendant.
Roller coaster week mentally for the young 21-year-old half to be told you're being rested altogether after almost a man of the match performance last week, and then brought back in on game day when Frawley couldn't go. Late offload out the back for Cook, trying to slice them up. And Schneider holds him up.
Brad Joe, now. Oh. Hold now, wait.
Selle will set them up 20 metres out. Can South Sydney find their first points? Here comes Jai Arrow at speed, trying to crash his way through. Sets them up for a play. Nikarima wants it short side. They go to Ilias on the open side, and Schneider makes another important tackle in company with Horsburgh. Left-hand side for Ilias. Walker behind a teammate, so had to give himself up. There's interference caused by Taff. They get it back to Walker somehow. Tipped out the back by Cook. Nikarima to Selle. It's really hard work here for South Sydney to finish off the set. Keeping it alive somehow. Get behind Jai Arrow. Eventually they do and give him an option. Cook involved again and slices them up this time. The South Sydney fans roar in Dubbo. Ad-lib footy and finally reward on that scoreboard.
Well, that's a different sort of try there from Damien Cook. Generally we see him sprint out of dummy half and just upset the middle mid. He catches the ball. They had to get behind the ball from Arrow. Look at this for a little bit of footwork and speed. Cuts back on the inside. That's a good try to Damien Cook. Good place to score it too for the South Sydney side. He's got some speed in the open field, hasn't he? Just skips out of a couple of tackles and scores for South. They needed it.
So only two more sides to chalk off as Damien Cook scores his first ever try against Canberra today, 25th overall for the Bunnies, number 9. And we've seen some big turnarounds this season, and South Sydney trying to conjure another one here. This try will be converted by Blake Taff from right in front.
Well, might give them that little bit of spark that they need. We know that the Canberra Raiders, in recent times anyway, can drop off in halves of footy. So let's see if that gives them the little bit of spark that they needed. They had to play a bit of ball there, a bit of ball movement to get that try. And South finally on the scoreboard.
After taking a bit of time to chill out, the kid in charge of the kicking tees is back on his feet and ready to retrieve this one once Blake Taff knocks it over. Going at 83% this year, 25 from 30. And a straightforward look to make it 24 points to 6. And Damien Cook, who is sure to be the Blues number 9, you'd reckon, and State of Origin, Ampol State of Origin is just weeks away. Game 1 in Sydney, Wednesday, June 8. Damien Cook hopes to be part of it. Tickets available for just $49. Don't miss your chance to witness Australia's greatest sporting rivalry live. Head to nrl.com/tickets today. But he does have a rival for that number 9 jumper, doesn't he, Block?
Big happy there from the Penrith side. We'll probably have something to say about it, but he's the incumbent, isn't he, Damien Cook? So trying desperately to hang on to that number 9 jersey for New South Wales.
Can they back it up, South Sydney, and make Ricky Stewart a little worried about a potential second half fade out here from Canberra?
I always like to see, after a team scored some points, the energy levels now. Let's hope it's lifted there for the South Sydney side. So they can go back to back here.
John Arrow played a big part in that try, and now on the outside, chance for Johnston, the speedster. Runners back inboard. Burgess says, put a kick in for me. The front rower was backing up on the inside. Wanted to chase a kick from Johnston that never came. Walker does kick for who? Ruppen are able to tidy up and keep it in the field of play.
Gee, looks like he saw something up the blind side there. It generally works there for Walker. And that time it didn't. Papali'i about to come back onto the field. Ricky senses that they need something.
So straight back out there, the milestone man, as Tarpany gets a little congratulatory handshake out the back behind the uprights. It was a very near thing for South Sydney, trying to go back to back on that previous set. Pass from Horsburgh was flat to Rushton. And Whiten from just outside the 40 down to Nikorima. He wants to give it to Paulo, a bigger man, to take on a refreshed Papali'i and company. Whiten looked for a big hit on Campbell Graham. Burgess from a standing start. I think Johnston did the right thing not kicking it for Burgess back on the inside.
Yeah, I reckon I would have put the kick in, but it looked a little bit like he'd exploded up that left-hand side. The support back on the inside was a little bit too far away from him. Probably why he didn't kick.
Nikorima chiming in and hopeful that Graham could get on the end of that inside ball, but Hudson Young is just doing everything for Canberra today, able to intercept that one ahead of Campbell Graham.
Yeah, I suppose that's the sort of thing that you get when you're trying to play catch-up footy. 24 points to 6. Trying to make things happen. And that's good play there from Hudson Young to get himself in a position. He's got a little bit of spark, but Nikorima, see him getting in open spaces a little bit more.
Well, they turned to the touch judge. They thought they'd forced an error out of young Savage, and the call does come. And South Sydney will start in Canberra territory.
They've made a couple of errors like that to start this second half. Handed over good field position to South. Savage it is. With extra effort going into the tackle on the young fella.
10 seconds, heads in. Next step. Arm around there, Hudson. Boxed off. Xavier, stay in.
And Paulo will feed it. Cook was locking it. Went to Ilias, and now Walker. Straight from the scrum, South Sydney. Trying to slice their way through again. Canberra complaining about an obstruction or two. Now Burgess up towards that 20-metre line.
He's got to get a little bit more depth in his running there. He's catching the ball pretty flat there, Burgess.
Cook proving tough to contain now as the Canberra defence gets a little more fatigued. Knight moved it on. Lovely play here, and Chotrich with a try saver, hoping he might have knocked that back and play on for Chris. Referee said it went forwards.
Chris might have been offside here. Knocks the ball down.
It's up to you. Where are we going?
Just watch where he picks the ball up. Look, he's in front. Oh, no.
And the referee said to Chotrich, you can tell your captain to challenge if you want to and see whether it did go forwards or back, that little bat down. And they decided not to. Have to aim up defensively. Again, Canberra.
We'll see how good their scramble is now and how hungry they are. You lead that comfortably on the scoreboard. You might drop off a little bit.
Ilias through the dummy and no way through. Nice legs tackle from Starling. Burgess. No way through. Papali'i defending in the line. Little slip in the defensive line here. Might open up space, but Walker couldn't get it away. And here comes the penalty.
Tackle off the ball on Blake Taff. Takes him out of being a support player.
He's been in his ear all day, Elliot Whitehead, the captain.
Can we challenge that?
And Knight sets them up. Burgess, a bit more of a run up this time and powers his way towards the try line. Canberra tried to get bodies underneath and did achieve that.
Yep. 10 metres out there, Tom.
Thomas is saying, don't worry about it. I got held up. Let's get on with the game.
Harry, get square.
Thought he might have been saying, let's go to the video replay. He might have thought the Steeden might have grazed the turf, but midway through the count here. In fact, a set restart for slowing down that play of the ball. Walker tried to catch and pass, rebounds off a Raider, still alive here for Arrow.
Stand there.
Still a quarter of the game to go here. Can South Sydney eat into that lead again here? Little double pump from Walker. Taff seeing plenty of it.
Marpin is in all sorts of problems over there on that right-hand wing.
He had that knee re-strapped before his first kick at goal today. Now he's on his knees, Jordan Rapiner. So surely South Sydney will head that way at some stage. They come to the right-hand side, though. And Ilias taken down one-on-one by Hudson Young. What a standout performance by the left edge back rower for the Raiders. Now knocked back by Knight. Tidied up by Walker. And it comes to a tame end. Play number 5. So Walker out of action here. Ilias doesn't get the kick in behind. Trapping and scrapping is Whiten. What a foot race against Cook. 2 Blues Origin teammates. Cook's rounding him up. Whiten nearly got away. What a chase. Damien Cook, outstanding. Had to let him go. So Chris is rolling off the back of it. Not many support players. And Canberra is saying just kick it crossfield here. Chotrich goes to Savage. He'll take them on. If they went to the right-hand side, they'll surely score. They're all screaming for it on that side, and he went too early there from Marker.
Gee, that was some sort of chase, wasn't it? Whiten just striding out, and Cook just runs him down. Good challenge. I'm sure he's seen him smiling. Whiten with Cook chasing him there. Gee, after a long-range break like that and South struggling to get back behind the ball, I know it's a give me right in front, but I'm surprised they didn't take the tap here.
And you saw Rapiner was down in all sorts, and they never attacked that side after he went down to his knees.
It's generally where Cody Walker comes into his own there and just has a look up. He was in all sorts, as you said, Rapiner.
So the lead right now is 18 points, 3 converted tries. So a gift 2 points on offer here once Rapiner eases his way through the pain barrier.
And good to see Wolford warming up on the sideline again, Sue. So he'll be back out there. By the look of it. He's all right to take the kick of goal.
Yeah, there is Zach Wolford, great story. Debuted at the age of 25. Once the stage there, it looked like being a jockey. It grew a little.
He's a big man
Put
now.
on some weight.
Was he going to ride a Clydesdale or something, was he?
So Rapana does extend that margin back out to 20 points. What a foot race that was, Jake Duke, as Whiten took on Damien Cook.
Yeah, the best seat in the house. It was right in front of me down here at the Dubbo ground. Jack Whiten, he's got some great turn of pace, but so does Damien Cook. The little legs just kept pumping, and he's kept his side really in this game, hasn't he? Because he scored that try to get them their first points of this half in this game, and then he's run down Jack Whiten there. And I know that the Raiders get 2 points there for a penalty, but otherwise it's a try, and it might be game over. So Damien Cook, a big effort play, and that's why he's one of the game's best players and one of the game's best rep players. He comes up with a big play there to keep South Sydney just alive in this contest.
Awkward one here, but Whiten again. Brilliant control with the boot, as he did to deny that kick getting through from Ilias a moment ago, and that set him towards the opposition try line. Great skills, Jack Whiten. Rushton moving it on to Horsburgh. They're not linking up those two interchange forwards. Starling continues in that dummy half roll. Papali'i was through and out the other side for a brief moment.
Come on, Josh, let him go.
They combine again in reverse this time. All the way through for Rushton off the Horsburgh pass. And Whiten in position to put his left boot through it again. Edging towards that touch line. Awkward for Paulo. And gets back into the field of play. One of those situations where if he could have got a foot across the sideline and just touched it, then it would have been out in the full.
Yeah, I reckon he might have thought about it. Gee, he can kick a ball, can't he? White, left foot up. That was a good take there from the young fella. So just got to find a way, just to find that little bit more energy. Get another try there, the opportunity up the other end of the field. The scramble was too good from the Raiders here this afternoon.
South Sydney, if they've got a half-time lead, they win this season. Half-time deficit, they lose. For that 5-5 record, and they trailed big time at the break here today. Ilias tumbling one down between fullback and winger, he thought, but it took a Raiders bounce straight to Savage. He's been battered and bruised today as Rushton, who leaves with claret flowing again. Jai Arrow gets a well-deserved break as well, and Adam Elliott, who helped set the tone today, is back out there for the Raiders.
Well, Jai Arrow, the most running metres for a forward for South Sydney with 92, so not any of their forwards up over the 100. A couple for the Canberra Raiders, so there's another knock on.
Yeah, shape to force the offload, and little hand in there from South Sydney helped create the error. Burgess is feeling for it and able to knock it out. Papali'i just feeling the effects after an awkward fall at the end of it all, perhaps. He's really struggling.
He must have fell awkwardly, as I was mentioning before the game. It was just so hard to put down. Yardage after contact, he must have landed on the shoulder there. So he's a hard man to put on the ground. I think that'll stop him. He'll be up and about in a sec.
Hopefully just the stinger as the shoulder really got shoved inside. Yeah, he's closing in on 100 metres run today, and a trademark try if you tuned in late in game number 250. That was the Raiders' second of this ball game.
Well, I know one thing, he won't want to come off in this milestone game. Just pushes away the trainer. We'll see you after the game.
The Raiders mark that milestone with a lunch at the pub during the week to reflect on Papali'i's career. Canberra did hold. And now Nikorima confronts Chris, and there's no way through. Papali'i's recovered and wanted some revenge on Burgess, who created that earlier error.
Just want to test out that shoulder. So he's right for next week.
Massive coming together at this stage of the game. Look at this hit. Same shoulder involved. Little fitness test for Big Papa. Oh, another hit from Whitehead. And finished off over the top by Timoko. Again broken up by Canberra, and it's play on for Rapana. Johnston chasing him down and got him by halfway.
Gee, that was a good chase there by Johnston. Just took the yards off him after first 10 steps.
Oh, here he goes.
Go on, Zach.
The X-Man, Xavier Savage, burning them off. He's got speed to burn. Xavier Savage with a highlight moment.
Well, I've been waiting to see him in broken field when the defence isn't all on. Didn't he take off? Here's the pick up there from Rapana. Gets cleaned up after about 12 strides. Straight away. Have a look at South Sydney trying to get back. Savage just notices it, beats Liam Knight, hands up, and then just takes off. What a try. Gee, they've been good to watch this afternoon, the Raiders. That looks like it's capped it off for them. Great run from Savage.
Well, what about the pace of this young gun? Just his second try in the NRL, and he showcased the speed that saw him break 11 seconds for the 100-metre sprint as a schoolboy. And his teammates were saluting when he was 20 metres from home there with two defenders in the vicinity. They knew he had the chance to burn them off, and boy, did he.
Mate, there was a couple of blokes there for the Raiders didn't even cross the halfway line then. They knew once he got in the clear, it was all over. Gee, it's great to see young blokes like that in the clear with that sort of speed. Poor Liam Knight just threw an arm out, just too quick for him, beat him with footwork, and away he went.
Yeah, Ricky Stewart naming him on the bench as an outside back cover. Xavier Savage, the 20-year-old, just his 8th game today. And they needed him when Nickel Klukstar went down at half-time. And his try is converted, and Canberra in complete control. That was another one that you would have savoured at ground level, Jake Duke.
Yeah, he's good to watch, isn't he, young Xavier Savage? That was the thought at half-time for Ricky Stewart, is that he had Jordan Rapana there, who's played at fullback so many times when Nickel Klukstar went down, but he thought this is the time to give young Xavier Savage a crack. He was sitting here on the bench, he puts him on there, and he shows the promise that so many people have been talking about with this kid. A promise so bright that Billy Slater called him in the pre-season just to touch base with him and to say, mate, just keep in mind that you are on our radar as an Origin player of the future, and to keep playing with that kind of promise. And look at the way he performed there and scores a great try, his 2nd of his career.
Knocked on by Canberra, so the short kickoff pays off here for South Sydney, who are in desperation mode right now. Don't forget, up next, the Titans against the Sharks. That's the 2nd game on our Sunday ticket. Nico Hines back with the number 7 on his back for Cronulla, who are looking to bounce back after being beaten last week by the in-form Raiders, and then Sunday night with Matty Johns right after full time. And the special guest tonight, Junior Paulo from the Parramatta Eels. Former Raider, good mate of Josh Papali'i. He would have been watching this one today with great interest. From the scrum, South Sydney straight on the attack. Nice pass over the top from Nikorima, and Johnston doesn't waste the opportunity. Consolation try for South Sydney, and Alex Johnston equal 2nd all time now on South Sydney's try scorers charts with Benny Waring.
Yeah, Johnston gets over the stripe there. It's this money, the money ball here from Nikorima. Rapana caught in field. He doesn't need that much opportunity to score tries. Johnson gets over the stripe there. It's a 2nd try here for the South Sydney side in the 2nd half. Savage can't make the tackle. And what a finisher this bloke is.
Try number 144 to equal Waring and only Nathan Merritt ahead of him.
Will he ever catch Irvine, Kenny Irvine? I think he scored maybe 70 or 80 more tries.
Yeah, Warren Smith spoke about it last week, about the percentage or the number of tries he has to achieve in the next 5 or 6 years to potentially hunt him down. He might just get there the way he's going. I mean, it's game number 177 today, and he's got 144 tries. It's an amazing strike rate for the left winger for South Sydney, who had some time there at fullback, but the left wing is his natural home. Less than 10 minutes to go. This to try and bring it back to a 20-point margin. Looks pretty good off the boot from Blake Taff. Tremendous goal kicker. And it's 32 points to 12 now.
Yeah, there's a replay of the try again with the pass over the top from Nikorima. He summed it up pretty quick. Scramble couldn't get there. Johnson scores for the South Sydney side. He's a great finisher, isn't he? I love seeing him in the open field. But the finish tries too when there's numbers on him. And the wingers of today, the way that they can score tries and take out that corner post, he's one of the best.
Brought back by Burgess, and Elliott and Horsburgh there to greet him. It's been some big collisions by the big boppers today, entertaining this massive crowd in Dub Vegas. It's a 2-year deal for South Sydney to come out here. Invited by the Dubbo Council. A big hit by Rapinoe, jamming in off the wing, and says to Blake Taff, how do you like life at left centre?
A couple of the South players didn't like the way that Rapinoe went on with it, but what a shot. He hits him and then he makes sure of it. Yeah, over the top. Which is, yeah, pushed it. That's all right. Carry on, 6 again.
Walker, shaped to pass, didn't have any options, so forced the kick late down to Savage, the speedster. One thing to break 11 seconds over the 100 on the track, but then you've got to come out and try and weave your way through some big blokes out on the rugby league field, and he's adjusted nicely. A wonderful athlete and such an exciting player to watch.
Well, they put a few kegs on him in the off-season too, so, and it doesn't look like he's lost any speed. And the wonderful footwork too to finish. He's going to be a good player for him, for the Raiders for a long time.
He's ironed out another one there. Papali'i, Liam Knight struggling after that collision, but he's back in the defensive line. I'm not sure how he's feeling though. Whiten tries to drop it into space. Nikorima tried to get a little flashy and will give it. Well, they said it went back. I thought that had to be a knock-on.
Gee, I thought it was a knock-on too. Lucky to get away with that one. See how casual he was at the back there, Nikorima. The Canberra Raiders, their chasing game's been pretty good here this afternoon. A little bit more urgency at the back.
Wes will take that, not being called a knock-on. For a South Sydney player or fan. Late offload, and Schneider there to pounce. No, the South Sydney players were expecting that one to be dumped out the back.
Well, here's their chance to finish it right off here, the Raiders.
Tackle 2.
Someone split, are they? Or?
Liam Knight. That's the collision a moment ago with Papali'i, who turned the shoulder into Knight and looked like he spun out of it.
The independent doctor came through, mate. I don't know, he's not on the field.
Head knock.
It's tackle 2, up we get.
He'd already left. Liam Knight's in front of us on the chair because he's not feeling so good.
Wait.
I think I might be in getting the warm shower, the warm water before it runs out. That was Liam Knight.
You want a Panadol before you get in there, I reckon. I think his head is going sideways at the moment. And the players' teammates informed him that he was already off the ground. So the referee said, well, I just got informed by the bunker that I had to get him off the field. That had already been taken care of. Here's Starling for Tarpany. Second stint for him. First one was long and stellar. Starling has options, and the mistake. Second time he's coughed it up, and now the back chat will lead to a penalty.
Yeah, he's done it a couple of times in this game, but his effort has been outstanding. His hands all over the ball here. What's he supposed to do? Well, that's a penalty to the Raiders. Shouldn't have went to the South Sydney.
Yeah.
We seen it earlier in the game.
The noise there as Campbell Graham ran into Hudson Young. Canberra looking to finish this one off strongly. And Papali'i just got the hands around the footy to deny the late offload from Havili. Ilias out the back for Walker. Nikarima once more. Oh, he's run into another telling shot. Blake Taff. This time, Timoko was there to stop him. If Jordan doesn't get you, Matt will. Good work at marker by Starling. Cook debating whether he was square or not as Ilias gets it spiralling really high here. And Savage made it look easy. Fans want to see him in open pastures again. Here's what the Raiders have coming up. Both those next two games are at home against Parramatta and the Roosters. Then the Broncos away, Knights and Dragons before the bye. So if they can get 3 wins out of 5 there, it sets them up nicely at the bye.
Not a bad draw, really, if you have a look at it. Yeah. Get themselves in the 8, the Raiders. Starting to get a few players back.
Now Rapana, right up the middle, not held. Eventually finished off by Kaloamatangi. Starling scheming. Tarpany, it's opened up for him nearly right up the middle. Here comes Schneider. Dropping it over the top. Up they go. Off South Sydney hands, and they'll get another full set here, Canberra.
You've got to play the ball to Canberra.
He had to play at the ball that time. Johnston. He knocks on for South Sydney. Probably only get another set, won't they? If the Raiders can get a repeat set here or score.
Yeah, no scrum, just to play the ball, so South Sydney can set up their defence.
Let's go, Joe. Good, mate. Stay square.
Papali'i in search of a double and gain 250.
Release the lever. Hold right here. That's it, Jamie. Hold, mate.
Schneider coming back to the left-hand side to link up with Whiten here. 5/8 has it. Out in front of Chris. Early ball here for Chotrich, who's heading towards that touchline. Oh, back inboard somehow. Miracle try, is it, for Hudson Young?
No, the touchy's got him out.
All right, he's out in touch here, guys.
The touchy's got him out. Gee, strong, isn't he? Chotrich trying to get that ball back in field. Would have been a good way for Hudson Young to finish the game. He's played brilliantly. Oh, he might have had his foot on the sideline there.
He did, yeah. It's an eagle-eyed spot. So Chotrich had done everything right, but it's Hudson Young who stepped out. So good pick up by the touchy. No need to get the bunker involved.
Out together now. Hold. Wait.
Just keep running out of the line, looking for big shots in the closing stages here. Kaloamatangi, late offload, missed the mark. Tidied up by Chris. Whiten organising his team. And now the mistake comes. It's a sloppy end to this game. Kaloamatangi knows that if he just gave that a bit more flight, then Nikarima would have swooped onto that one and would have been away.
Yeah, it sort of dropped on him, didn't it? All the hard work to get himself into space. I think it might have hit his hip on the way through.
Well past the 10 seconds.
Talking about a challenge.
Come on, we've had
Why
it
wouldn't
around
you?
long enough to know what the rules
Haven't had one today from either captain.
Been plenty of chat out there, but
Can't take him with you. Don't forget, Titans against the Sharks is up next, not too far away from kickoff in that one on Fox League. Canberra have had this one well and truly covered for a long time. About to match South Sydney with a 5-6 record.
they just didn't turn up in the first half, did they? South Sydney side just got beat physically by the Raiders. 20-0 at half time. Haven't recovered.
Showcasing the importance of your man, Junior Totola, wiped out defensively on the first play. Man who, coming off a man of the match performance last week, lasted just over 10 seconds. Nikarima cut out ball for Johnston in search of try number 145, but he ran out of room. Inside the final minute, so here's a live ladder. Canberra only outside of the 8 on for and against. South Sydney will hold on to their spot in the top 8, but they are vulnerable now with Manly and the Dragons on 10 points as well. It's going to be fascinating right till the conclusion of this season who's going to sneak into those last couple of spots in the 8. And Canberra, who were under the pump and really struggling about a month ago, Blocker, are playing some great footy.
Yeah, good to watch. It's amazing when the passes start to stick.
Last
They've
tackle.
scored some brilliant tries in this game, the Raiders. Amazing what a little bit of confidence will do. A good win last week against a quality side in the Sharks. And scored plenty of points with 30-10, I think it was the score. So got your mojo back.
And look at that, right to the end. Defence like that. Siren sounds. The Canberra Raiders. Hat-trick of wins for Ricky Stewart's side. And they couldn't have been more impressive today. The return of Jack Whiten, who is smiling big time after this performance. They crush South Sydney 32 points to 12 in Josh Papali'i's 250th.